so mean I make medicine sick. That's bad.
This is combat culture.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to Combat Culture Africa. I'm just trying to get the, yeah, that's it. I am Oche Young Jollof Edache. I am your host for the evening, and it's a pleasure to be here. First of all, we should do our social media plugs. Let me get that on the screen now. There we go. Yeah, so we are Combat Culture Africa on Twitter and Facebook, and you can also email us at combatcultureafrica@gmail.com if you have questions, if you want to get featured on our Q&A section, please send us a message. If you also want to support us more directly, you can check out our Patreon. We are patreon.com/ the Nigerian nerd. So yeah, now that we have all the social media plugs out of the way, it's good to see you guys. How have you been? How's Nigeria treating you? How is life? How is everything? Your mental health, everything? I hope you're doing good. I hope you're not too stressed, because stress is the big thing right now, like, because we're all dealing with so many different things. And yeah, I hope you're doing good, and I hope we have an amazing freaking show today. So the African knockout was exactly 1 week ago, 7 days ago, and that was the 15th of June at the Abuja Continental Hotel, and it was nice, it was dope, it was good. And where there is dope stuff, you will find me. What was good about this event? Before we go into what was good about this event, let me drink some water. Yeah, I went running this morning, so I did a quick 10-kilometer run before hopping on the podcast. So I'm a bit dehydrated, so you'll see me hop, and I think today's show is going to be a bit longer than usual, so you'll see me hopping in between to drink water and back, but just bear with me. So 4 minutes and 45 seconds into the show, this was the AKO's first time in Abuja. There was a lot of expectation as regarding a lot of things. I know a lot of people were concerned about turnout, so how many people are going to come out on the day. We were thinking about different things, just the reputation that Abuja people can have of being, we don't really like to come out, like if it's not for a big music show, like we don't like to take risks. That's the rep that we have. That's the rep I've seen that Abuja has amongst, at least when I speak with people that are into combat sports in Lagos. So there was a lot of expectation and anticipation, and quite frankly trepidation regarding the whole thing, because it's a risk, it's a toss-up. No one has ever tried to do a show of that size in a venue of that much prestige in the beautiful city of Abuja before. And what if it bombs? What if it flops? But truth be told, right, these shows, they mean something big, because, like, for instance, now this was the first time that the African knockout is in Abuja. This is the biggest MMA show that has taken place in Abuja. You had good fights. It was featured on live broadcast, so people could watch it at home on YouTube. They could also watch it on Super Sports. That kind of accessibility, that kind of reach, that kind of risk taking, foresight, all that stuff, to get a show of that magnitude planned, underway, and executed to the point now that we can look back at it and say, oh wow, the show happened. We're not even saying good, bad. No. That show happened. That's good. That's really good. That's the kind of stuff that inspires people to want to do better. That's I don't know. I like that I am alive while this is happening. I like that this is happening in my lifetime. I like that people can open super sports, even if it's just 3 times a year, and they can watch Nigerian boys fight mixed martial arts in 2024. Unprecedented, never in the history of this glorious and beautiful nation. And I like that I'm a part of that. And for me, when I want to reflect on AKO's first time in Abuja, that's ultimately what comes to mind. It's breaking new ground. It's looking at a situation that says something should not be possible and still going ahead and showing everyone that it's possible. It's playing for the biggest possible risks on the biggest possible stage, knowing that you can mess up, knowing that NEPA can take light, anything can happen. This is Nigeria, but still doing it. And that's what the African Knockout did. Against all odds, came to the Federal Capital Territory, Center of Unity, and they knocked it out the park. Yeah, there were some things you can look out and say, we can critique this, we can do this better, but that's life, isn't it? You can always do things better. But just the fact that it's been done, just the fact that it happened in Abuja, just showing people that it's possible and making it consistent, you know? Like for me, I'm obsessed with taking difficult things, then making it look easy. Just for myself. It's a way of gamifying life, because life will be hard. But that's something that they're doing as well, in the sense that they've come and they've set a new standard, and now the standard is going to be the norm for them, because they can come back to Abuja and just replicate what they've done again. It doesn't really matter. The logistics, they say wars are won by infantry, but battles are won with logistics. So you can put on fights, but until you figure out a way to make it seamless, like you see the UFC, they pick up their show and they're in Arizona this weekend. They pick up their show, then they are fighting at the Apex next weekend. They pick up their show, then they are fighting at Albuquerque, New Mexico. Like they because it's no longer a matter of the location. The system has been built. Like there's a well-oiled system and the system is made up of people who know exactly what they are meant to do. They have contingencies. Everybody knows what their job is, and they just focus on executing. And that's what you see the AKO trying to do with this championship that they're setting up. So for those who don't know, there are 5 weight classes. So there's featherweight, lightweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, and women's bantamweight. Across there are 4 regular events, which is the 4th event was the one which just took place in Abuja last weekend. They allocate points based off of the athletes' performances. So if you're a light heavyweight and you win your bout, you get 3 points. If you win by knockout, it's up to the discretion of the management of AKO. They can award you an extra 2 points for your performance, similar to what the UFC does. So now they have their standings, they have their rankings done across all their 5 weight classes. Abuja was the last regular event in their championship season. If all goes well, Abuja is going to host them again soon. In fact, Abuja should be hosting them again really soon. The next one should be happening in Abuja. So what they're doing now is they've done Lagos however many times. They've built that system in Lagos. They've replicated it, brought it to Abuja, done it again. Live broadcast, 9 shows, 10 different African nations, managing the logistics of all of that, getting all those athletes in a hotel, making sure they are fed, making sure they're on weight, making sure the press conference happens, making sure that we who are behind the scenes do our rehearsals, make sure we have our lines perfect, make sure we come the morning of the show, rehearse a bunch, go back, come back to the venue, and make sure that everything goes on live television at 7 p.m. Everybody watches it. Boom, we're done in 4 hours. The venue is taken down. The following morning, the place is empty. That's a system. That's not you throwing and hoping. That's you aiming and firing, you know. And a system is all about creating efficiency so that you no longer have to think about contingencies and about the chaos and the unknown of life, because there's a system in place designed to absorb whatever that is and give out a consistent result. And now that they've done that in Lagos, they've come to Abuja, they've done it, replicate it in Abuja again. It's only a matter of time before this just becomes a part of your popular culture. It just becomes something that people talk about. You just know the champion of the middleweight division of AKO, and you might just open up YouTube and watch it. You might open up a podcast like this one and hear somebody talking about it. Consistency is what breeds excellence and what breeds long-term success in any endeavor. So what you're going to, and what you've seen them do, is be consistent for 5 years. When the broadcast wasn't great, they've done it. And now they have built their confidence, they've built their market base up, they've built everything up to the point now where they can start to hop from state to state. So I'm curious to see how this goes. I'm excited, quite frankly. I think it's good. I think it shows everybody else who is on the scene, especially in the local communities, the local, like in the state, on the states now. For instance, in Port Harcourt, I know there are people that run shows. Abuja, people run shows everywhere, nightclubs. Like, you just have to know that it's happening and you can attend a show. If you go to Lagos, boxing shows every weekend, MMA shows. But I think AKO has cornered the market in Lagos anyway. But you've not had anybody really create a promotion with longevity that can be sustained, that you can say is a road show. For instance, now, okay, we're in Abuja this weekend, we're going to Lagos next month, okay, we're coming to Rivers after in 3 months. Like, who knows? Like, that's what they're trying to build. And yeah, this isn't even putting in the factoring in the fact that, like, it's on international television and you can watch it from every African country whenever the show is happening. It's unprecedented. So just reflecting on AKO for their first time in Abuja, I think history was made. I am excited because they've been consistent up to the point where they've come to Abuja now, and Abuja gets to feel some of that heat, that energy. The athletes now, the guys fighting, they get to see what the top level in their region is like. So that elevates the quality of the sport, elevates the visibility and exposure, eventually brings more money into the sport, and hopefully that trickles down in significant quantities to the athletes so that the sport can just get better overall. But it'll take time, and I'm glad to see that at least somebody is taking the risk to do something great in Nigeria. I think that should always be celebrated. All right, so our second topic of the day is the build up to the show and what sets AKO apart. Quick recap. I'm a commentator for the AKO when we work together. So I do commentary and analysis on the live broadcast for the viewers at home and for the people watching online. So I'm just a commentator basically, and I just use my eyes and my experience as a fighter, my knowledge, to make sense of what is happening on the screen for the guys back home. And I had the honor of working with Hugo Ndomaegba, who is a fellow mixed martial artist, born and raised in Abuja. We both trained together. When I fought both my fights, we both fought on the same fight cards. He's awesome guy, trains with Taurus Martial Arts under Machine Gun Shegs, someone I know well. So we had the pleasure of working together. Shout outs to the African Knockout for making that opportunity possible. And now this is where I begin to answer the points on the screen. The build up to the show is always the same. And I can't talk about this without talking about how the fight shows in Lagos work. Lagos, like, once you get into Lagos, like me now, my schedule once I get into Lagos, anytime there's an event in Lagos, is I say the show is on Saturday, I'll probably get in on Thursday evening, last flight. So after work, as soon as I close from work, I'm flying to Lagos. I get to Lagos maybe Thursday evening, press conferences on Friday evening, so I use my Friday morning to afternoon to meet the fighters, interview them, know their story, know their background, know what they are fighting for, what's the name of your gym, are you, but just everything. Do you have siblings? What's your favorite musician? Why is your hair designed like this? Just ask them questions, because the questions you ask them are what will you can now use to fill in the blanks when you're doing the commentary in real time on fight night. So I would be there on Friday, go through all that, do the press conference. Then as soon as the press conference is over, you're doing rehearsals. Those rehearsals now are, you have to cover every single aspect of the fight. So that is how much time you're going to be on screen, what you're going to be saying, how you're going to be saying it, your flow, how you're going to be interacting with the people in the cage, rings, the ring, like when the ring girls stand up, when they do everything. You have to get the rhythm of the show, and that's what sets them apart. Preparation. They prepare very well. They prepare for contingencies. They prepare for Nigeria. Like, they don't just assume, they don't just put on a show together and just assume that, oh, if something goes wrong, it's Nigeria, everybody will manage it. Like, they try to project excellence. And I won't lie, you don't always catch that vibe when you're watching from home. Maybe the light, maybe the camera, maybe the cameras aren't in super HD. It's not as clear as you're used to, maybe. But if you see the work that goes into putting one of these shows together, like, you would really, really, really give these guys at least some respect, because it's not easy. Even me, like, so once it's fight day, I'm not sleeping. Like, all I'm drinking is coffee. So I'll make sure I train the morning before. I make sure I do train every day, but I have to train before the show, just so I'm focused. Same way I'm focused right now, because, like, I had to train before this podcast, because, like, I know my attention is going to be required of me. So what sets AKO apart is a dedication to preparation that no other promotion in Nigeria that I have had the pleasure of working with is willing to put in. They just prepare. They prepare for everything. They prepare for power outages. They prepare for electrical, technical issues. They prepare for memory cards dying on the night. They prepare for everything. They prepare, and it shows. And that's why, in terms of mixed martial arts, you can't talk about MMA without talking about the African knockout. It is what it is. Like, they're number one. And it's that preparation. And because you can go back and see the track record over time from you can turn on Netflix. My TV is right here. We can turn on Netflix right now and see their first show. It was not great. Like, you see the Netflix production, you can see it's not too great. The commentary wasn't too great. Everything wasn't too great. There was even a show that they were doing, and while they were doing the show, you could hear the producer in the background talking. But over time, now they've come to your city and they're putting on shows. That's the reward for consistency. That's the reward for preparation. You get to be excellent. And generally, when you're excellent, human beings are willing to pay you money. So yeah, let me sip. That's what sets AKO apart. Preparation. You can't make excuses that we're in Nigeria. You can't make excuses that there's no light. You can't make excuses that there's no money. No, it's in this world, it doesn't exist. Like, you just have to prepare against all odds. And yeah, that's what sets AKO apart. Preparation. And excellence. So, the fights, did they deliver? I have my fight notes in front of me. To be honest, I think the fights delivered. We had 9 fights, which I thought was crazy. When I was told that we're going to do 9 fights, I was like, that sounds like a lot. But then, I've been out of practice for a while. I've been doing mostly like voiceover work online. Physical shows, I'm out of practice. But I thought 9 shows was a lot, but they pulled it off. 9 shows, 10 African nations, and their main event was in the middleweight division. That was between Flex MUNWE and Daniel Big Shaq EMEKA. The fights delivered. Yes, they did deliver. We had knockouts on the night. We had first fight was EMMANUEL NWORIE versus Daniel IWUOHA. Wrestler versus kickboxer match. come in off the wrestling exchange, boom, KO knockout, first fight. Second fight was that Melvin? Yeah, the second fight was Melvin versus Melvin the African Sniper versus Israel Mano from Burkina Faso. That was a good fight as well. Melvin clutched that one out. I liked seeing the discipline from Melvin. He was a lot more disciplined, a lot more technical this time. Stuck to a game plan, chopped that leg kick. Managed to survive and stymie the wrestling assaults of his opponent. Good fight. I was happy that Melvin came out on top. I like Melvin. Melvin is a good guy. Third fight was EMMANUEL BENARD versus Andre MUKISI. I had my eyes on this one because if you guys remember, Andre MUKISI was the guy that put the video out kicking the heavy bag with EMMANUEL BENARD's face on it. Sadly, that fight was I don't know. It wasn't too. It was a slow burner because they just ended up. EMMANUEL BENARD was taken to the ground. Didn't have a response for the assault on the ground. Clearly doesn't work. Clearly is not as confident on the ground as he is standing, and it showed. Andre MUKISI clutched that one out. Crowd was not happy. Crowd was actually kind of bored. Like they were booing them off stage at several points. Then we had Jane OSIGWE versus JIBIDA SYTHIA. JIBIDA SYTHIA from Togo, Lomé. She was 29 years of age. Jane OSIGWE turned 20 that day, I believe. So she was 19 the day before, turned 20 the day of her fight. Comes out, opens up with a flurry, gets the tie plum clinch, tie clinch behind the neck of JIBIDA, gets a knee to the body in the ongoing scuffle. They go on the ground. She tries to take her back. Boom. Bob's your uncle. Jane OSIGWE is your winner of that bout. That was a good fight. CHERIF DRAME versus MARCEL. CHERIF, you know why that fight was crazy? DRAME opened up with the move that he landed on my friend Shegs, Machine Gun Shegs, fellow middleweight in the AKO championship. He landed that very overhand right on Shegs, and that was how he knocked Shegs out and won. Him and MARCEL are doing the feint game, trying to measure range, trying to get into the right distance. MARCEL doesn't just, I don't know, he timed that overhand right so well, because as Drame had feinted a few times and he opened up with his special move, which is the overhand right, and it landed on the neck. I've watched it so many times. It landed on the neck of MARCEL, and not only did it not land on the target, MARCEL had his right hand waiting just at the uppercut, like he was trying to time the overhand right. I don't know if they had been watching Drame and they just knew that was his own show you can. So as the guy threw the show you can, man, he was like, yo man, dude, not only did you miss me, here's my right hand. That stuns Drame. He's trying to get his wits about him. The left hook follows immediately, followed by a right. Boom. Bob's your uncle. Straight to the land of wind and ghosts. MARCEL is your winner. That was in the middleweight division. Then we have GASMIRE DIATTA versus JAKIEL AYANA. It was a good fight too. And then second round TKO, I believe. GASMIRE DIATTA won that one. Fight 7. My guy, ANANIAS MULUMBA versus Jonathan LAMPTEY from Ghana. ANANIAS MULUMBA, of course, from the Democratic Republic of Congo. ANANIAS just, I don't know, man. That guy just makes me happy. He just makes me happy. I love watching him fight. He makes me proud to be a martial artist in Africa because he's special. That kid is special. First round knockout. Took him a second or two to find his weight. His opponent, Jonathan LAMPTEY, landed a solid left hook in the opening. We'll go through the footage of all this, but ANANIAS MULUMBA weathers the storm. So lead hand activity is something that is spoken about in boxing. You don't hear people talk about it too much in MMA like that, but it's valid in all, as long as they're striking. Like lead hand activity, which is just using your hand to paw and to find your opponent's rhythm, so you can break the rhythm and then land your own strike in between. So lead hand activity was something that ANANIAS MULUMBA would use with his left hand, where he would tap So he feinted with his left hand, and that gets a reaction from the right side of Jonathan Lamptey. So he resets back to neutral. Then this time feints like he's about to tap with the same lead hand activity action that he exposed the last time with his left hand. He feints like he's about to do that because he had downloaded the reaction from Jonathan Lamptey. Jonathan Lamptey took his right hand up, but then fighting, you can't be predictable. So as that hand was going up, Ananias Mulumba switches stances, takes his right hand straight into an uppercut into the exposed side underneath the jaw. Boom. That was the end of the fight. Intelligent guy. And I like his team. Those guys from the Democratic Republic of Congo, their coach, I even spoke with their coach this last weekend, Yadad Musir, and I told him, he was telling me their mindsets with regards to how they approached like the main event. And he said to me, what's the point proving to him that you can strike? If we know that when we take you to the ground, you don't have an answer, why should I strike with you? Take him to the ground every single time. And yeah, that is the art of war. That's what fighting is about. Exploit every weakness. So why should I get into my ego and try to strike with you because, I'm a striker too? No. I'll just take you to the ground and smother you. And that's what they did. And Ananias Mulumba exposed that as well. Saw that his opponent had a reaction that he could take advantage of. Feinted with his left, threw his right uppercut underneath. Boom. Bob's your uncle. Then fight 8 was Richard MUZAAN versus ATHANASSIUS PIUS. Richard MUZAAN, of course, 24 years of age, from Port Harcourt. And ATHANASSIUS PIUS is from Douala, Cameroon, 23 years of age. So during the weigh-ins, when Richard weighed in with ATHANASSIUS, I remember all of us looking at ourselves like, oh my God, because there's something we call the eye test. It's completely unreliable. But as human beings, we just can't help it. Sometimes we look at two guys and then instantly we're looking at who has more abs, who has more defined muscles, and we think that guy is immediately stronger. So that happens during weigh-ins a lot. And everybody would just looked at both guys weighing in and we're just like, yo, MUZAAN is going to kill this guy. But yeah, it's this is one occasion where the eye test was in fact accurate. Richard MUZAAN came in, had his way with his opponents. But then that brings us to the next topic, which is bad stoppages by the referees. I think the whole fight card is about 3 hours and 39 minutes, and it's still on YouTube. You can go on the African Knockout YouTube channel and catch that there. But there were some bad stoppages on this card, man, and this was the clearest example of a bad stoppage. It's stressful when you're a referee because there's all this stuff. There's noise. You're in the middle of the lights. There's cameras around you. Both these guys are fighting. You have to be on the edge of your seat, on the tip, you have to be at your best game the entire time to make sure that you stop the fight if it needs to be stopped, so nobody gets hurt unnecessarily, or let the action go on if you see somebody still intelligently defending themselves, But this was one occasion where the ref jumped the gun too soon, and yeah, there's no need to call his name, but I think the standard of refereeing has to go up. We had quite a few questionable calls on that night, one too many. Even one is bad enough because these guys train 3 months, 4 months for this opportunity to come fight, and to just have the referee step in the way of the action and stop it. Yeah, we need to fix that. So fight 9 was the middleweight bout between Flex MUNWE and Daniel EMEKA. I don't know, man. I think the biggest hole in the game of Nigeria is obviously the grappling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and wrestling. We have wrestlers, like we even have a national wrestling team and stuff. So yeah, you can get wrestling experience, hands-on experience if you're hungry enough for it. But man, the grappling and the jiu-jitsu, and it showed so clearly in this Flex MUNWE versus Big Shark EMEKA fights. Like Flex just took him. We'll watch the footage soon. Flex was your winner of the evening, just by domination, utter and complete domination. Stifled him on the floor, and yeah, that was the end of the main event. So bad stoppages from refs. What is happening there? If you want a bit more context into the refereeing situation in Nigeria, you can look for an organization called GAMA, Global Association for Mixed Martial Arts. They are the organization which provides the refereeing services for some of the AKO events, and you could see them, like they had their GAMA shirts on, and even EMMANUEL, the ring announcer, was calling. He would say our referee from GAMA is, then he would say Austin Judah, he would say Chinaza Nyogu, like, and those are two referees from GAMA. A few months ago, I attended their a training. I was invited. Shout outs to AKU. They invited me to come see what they were doing with referees in Abuja. They had all the referees at the Abuja Continental Hotel, teaching them about refereeing, teaching them about how you allocate points, what you should look out for in different positions, be it on the ground, in side control, quarter guard, full mount. What does that mean? When you see someone taking damage, what the reactions you should look out for, what the judges are looking out for, the point system, how the judges allocate points. And they had like a full 2-day seminar. I attended. I even got a certification for that. I don't think I've gotten my certificate from Mayo. Mayo collected it for me. But that was good, because the following day there was an amateur event still put on in partnership with GAMA and a few other organizations. And that was the first time I saw amateur MMA in Niger. And that's good. So when you see these bad stoppages, don't just get up in arms and start screaming, hey, the referee messed that guy up, putting the warrior, I'm not mad. Nah, like, it's deeper than that. Like, these guys are actually getting trained to do their job. It's just that their job is so really stressful, and you need hands-on experience. No matter how many times I take you into a classroom and give you a seminar on proper refereeing, unless you get in there and get your hands dirty on fight nights with the stress and with the workout and with the music and with the crowd and with the people, everything, unless you do that and get comfortable with that, you won't get any better. So unfortunately, I think these are just the birthing pains that come with starting anything and trying to set a standard. And referees, so they are training their guys. I know that they are training their guys. I know that it's going to get better. I think so. I believe so, because I saw the work that they put in. I saw how much effort they were putting into actually getting certified on that day, and it encouraged me, I won't lie. So we move on to number 5. Thoughts on my performance on commentary and what I would like to improve on. So I'm going to drink some water and drop that real quick. So commentary. Thoughts on my commentary. I thought I did good. I give myself a 7 out of 10. I did good keeping up with the action, keeping up with the technicalities. I did good bouncing off Hugo. Hugo 2 was good. I think I did good with the ad reels as well, because I've never read ads on the broadcast. So that was the first time for everything. I introduced the show. But I give myself a 7 because there were times where I could have done a better job of being fluid. Just being fluid, like, because I'm always getting, I might need to talk randomly. I might just need to talk for 10 minutes with Hugo just to occupy time, because there was a knockout. I feel like I stuttered a bit too many times. Even the intro, when I was trying to do the introduction, like I rehearsed that intro so many times, like in my house, just moving back and forth in my living room, just rehearsing my lines, rehearsing how I would bounce off Hugo, rehearsing how I would give the fighters all the attention that I could give them. I rehearsed all that stuff like for hours, for close to 1 week and a half before the show, because I just wanted to do as close to a perfect job as possible. But the intro of the show, and this is why you can't take anything too serious. The intro of the show, I stuttered. Like I remember saying, you are welcome to the Abuja Continental Hotel in Abuja, Federal Capital Territory. Welcome to Abuja. Like I said it like 3 times, and I was like, dude, what's wrong with you? Why you acting like you didn't prepare for this moment? But I mess up the first couple minutes, but after you find your rhythm, when you get comfortable, you get in your seats, you're at one fight in, you're good to go. So I'd like to be better at introducing the ads next time. I feel like I was too abrupt. I should be able to just be snappy with it. Okay, I'll catch you guys after this commercial break, like something just simple. But I kept stuttering, and yeah, so that's something I'm definitely going to improve upon. The next thing would be, I don't know, man, making it even easier, making it even more relaxed, and while still retaining the technicality. I was really happy that me and Hugo could talk about the technical stuff. Snappy. I can just send him a question. Oh, what do you think is happening in side control? Hugo tells me, oh, he should be turning on his left hip, rotating, putting his right knee onto his opponent's left hip and pushing him away to create space so that there's framing. I love hearing that, and I think we did an excellent job on the night. 2 of us, hats off to Hugo. So next time I'll just focus on being more loose and also just being snappier with introducing the sponsors, introducing the ads, the actual hard work, the actual hard technical work of doing the job, which is, I need to be better at that. So that's what I'm going to do next time, God willing, if there is a next time. All right, so fight breakdowns and analysis. This is actually the meat and potatoes of today's show. Actually, we're in Niger, so this is actually the pounded yam and egusi of today's show. And I think we should start from the first fight of the night, which was NWORIE versus DIATTA. So how we're going to go about this is, I'll play the clip, I'll give my thoughts as quickly and as snappily as possible, then we move on. All right, so 3, 2, 1.
Good evening. We go right into our first fight of the 4th fight event of the African Knockout Championship season 2024. Hugo, we have IWUOHA versus EMMANUEL, the working machine, NWORIE. What should we be looking for in this bout?
Well, this is Daniel's debut. This is his first time in the AKO. So I'm sure he would want to have a good start. He would want to start nice and explosive. And immediately both men find themselves in a clinch. Oh, it's a knockout already. Oh, my God.
It appears the referee had seen enough. Has the referee...
All right, so that was IWUOHA versus NWORIE. That was the first fight of the evening. Do I really want to go into the technicalities? Well, okay, good footwork from both men. IWUOHA is a wrestler, so it was a classic wrestler versus striker battle there, and you can see that's why NWORIE took shot for the takedown immediately at the start of the bout. But on the break of the clinch, like I liked that scuffle. I like that it just showed that both men were aware of the defensive positions in their wrestling, and boom, one guy shot for the takedown. I believe that was NWORIE. IWUOHA, wise to it, stops the takedown and they reset the position. But as they are getting back onto their feet, there was a knee, but that knee landed while you could still consider NWORIE to be a grounded opponent, but the referee didn't catch it. And sometimes it happens, man. The referee can't see everything. Next thing, you have a left high kick followed by left high kick followed by a right hook, and that was the end of the fight. So good fight. I like the footwork from both men. Good distance management. It's only 37 seconds. Let's watch it the second time.
Good evening. We go right into our first fight of the 4th fight event of the African Knockout Championship season 2024. Hugo, we have IWUOHA versus EMMANUEL, the working machine, NWORIE. What should we be looking for in this bout?
Well, this is Daniel's debut. This is his first time in the AKO. So I'm sure he would want to have a good start. He would want to start nice and explosive. And immediately both men find themselves in a clinch. Oh, it's a knockout already. Oh, my God.
It appears the referee had seen enough. Has the referee...
Yeah, I'm sure you caught it the second time. The knee landed while he had both his legs and one hand still in contact with the ground. That knee was what led to the left high kick into the right hook, and that was the end of the fight. Now, I don't think you can blame the ref for that too much. Well, no, you can blame the ref, because the ref should have, if he spotted that, he could have ruled it a no contest. He could have deducted a point and kept giving the other guy time to rest, 5 minutes to rest, get your bearings about you, we get back into the action. But unfortunately, he didn't see it, and NWORIE got knocked out, TKO first round. So that was the first one. Shout outs to Daniel IWUOHA, first time fighting, good performance. I heard a bit about his story. He said that he had overcome so many things to get here, overcame cultism, different things in his place, and he picked fighting, and now he's fighting on national television, and he got a knockout in the first round. Okay, so the second one is a bit longer. This is about 2 minutes long, and it's basically, and this is Jane OSIGWE. No. Yeah, this is Jane OSIGWE versus JIBIDA SYTHIA. So let's give this a watch.
Jane OSIGWE versus JIBIDA SYTHIA, and Jane OSIGWE applying pressure from the word jump. Let's see how this opening seconds of the first round go. Hugo, lots of energy and frenetic pace so far. Let's see what your thoughts are.
These ladies,
on
they
this
come
bout.
to play, you know. Jane is such a sweetheart outside, and it's actually her birthday today, you know. She started at such an intense pace, and she has taken the back, and she's working for the rear naked choke. But I think she's a bit off angle.
Yeah, she is a bit off angle, and JIBIDA SYTHIA doing the right thing and turning into her left, attempting to turn into her opponent. But Jane OSIGWE, sensing that she did not have the position, opts in the scramble to go into full mount.
Oh boy.
You can hear the corner of Jane OSIGWE screaming, elbow, elbow, elbow. This is
Jane.
This is the position.
All right, so that was, I don't want to watch the full thing, because I mean, the whole fight card is on their YouTube channel. I want to give respect where respect is due. The footage belongs to the African Knockouts. These are just highlights so that we can talk about the action, analyze it for our own education. But if you want to watch the actual fights, please go give their YouTube channel a shout out. It's African Knockouts. But you can see that there, Jane OSIGWE just comes in, stifles from the opening bell. Boom. Let's just watch that opening second again.
Jane OSIGWE versus JIBIDA SYTHIA, and Jane OSIGWE applying pressure from the word jump. Let's see how this.
So there are some fighters, right, that excel under chaotic situations. They're very good at creating chaos. Then in that resulting confusion, they are good at just finding a path to victory. And so some people, well, if you know that that's a strength you have, you should utilize it, because not everybody is a cool, calm, collected Israel Adesanya style bender. I'll wait, I'll react, I'll faint. Some guys they start at 5, gear 5 is what they start on. And yeah, Jane OSIGWE comes in there, applies that pressure, applies the tie clinch at the back of the neck, left knee to the body, rotates her on that side. They go on the floor. She still comes out on top in the scuffle and starts to ring ground a pound on our opponent. Tries to get the rear naked choke actually, but her left, you're taught to sink your legs into your opponent, so you get your hooks in. So your left hook is your left leg, left heel into your opponent's left thigh, calf. You sink it in and sink your right side, vice versa on the other side, and that's how you control the lower portion of their body, so that when you try to get the rear naked choke, they can't roll into you. But you see that Jane locked her legs on the right side of JIBIDA SYTHIA's body, meaning that JIBIDA SYTHIA has left the space on her left side to turn into her. Jane OSIGWE, realizing that she can't secure the submission from that position, decides to follow her and roll into her, and that eventually gets her to take JIBIDA SYTHIA's back, and yeah, eventually she wins. So shout out to Jane OSIGWE. I like her. She has good energy, really good, really nice energy. I'm sure the guys at marketing her, they must be really happy just whenever she's in front of the camera, or the guys managing her. All right, let's go to the next one, which was MELVIN UGOCHUKWU versus MANO from Burkina Faso.
Fight 2 of the evening, Israel MANO versus Melvin the African Sniper UGOCHUKWU. Hugo, what should we be looking for in this fight?
Well, in the last fight, like just before the fight started, we could see Melvin's a very big crowd favorite, and he let that play. I guess he let that play into his head the last time and got carried away, got complacent, and found himself on the canvas. But
Well,
both fighters are coming from a loss.
The striking so far, what are you observing? Oh, nice high kick from Melvin the Sniper UGOCHUKWU.
That was a very good outside leg kick as well, because Manu has invested a lot. So I think this is an investment.
So far, this has been a battle of outside leg kicks, but Israel the Blacksmith MANO changing the tempo of the fight and going straight in with the right hand, connecting clean on the dome of Melvin the African Sniper UGOCHUKWU. Right now, cage and clinch work taking place from both the athletes in the cage. Let's see how it goes. Boom. It's important to note that the reason why Israel MANO is able to control...
All right, so Melvin is my guy, and he reached out to me after the fight asking me, okay, what was my thoughts, which is what we do from time to ever since I started covering him. Every time he has a fight, he asks me what I think, and I usually give my feedback. I analyze the fight and I let him know. So Melvin and Israel MANO, as you can see in the opening seconds of this bout, the concern that both Israel MANO had issues with striking off the bat. I think Melvin is a better striker. Melvin had more pop. Melvin had more power, and you could see that in the exchanges. Israel always gave such a big reaction whenever Melvin would leg kick him. So that was the first key to victory for Melvin. The leg kicks, utilizing space and lateral movements to avoid the edge of the cage, and sticking to the game plan. I just think he needed to stay disciplined. That last fight that he lost, the KO loss, it was a lack of discipline. I feel like he just got a little too carried away with the bright lights of the occasion, and he lost his discipline for a moment, and that was all that was needed to knock him out. So this time you could see him exercise that discipline, take his time. His opponent's key to victory, Israel MANO's key to victory, was in the grappling. And you could see that when he would grapple Melvin, the African Sniper, UGOCHUKWU, against the edge of the fence, Melvin struggled. Why did Melvin struggle? Melvin struggled because Israel secured an underhook. What is an underhook? An underhook is if you're ever wrestling anybody, if you see two guys that know how to wrestle, they always try to get their hands underneath their opponent's armpit. Not their hands now, their arms. So rather than if I'm trying to wrestle you, I won't wrestle you above your shoulders. I'll wrestle you underneath your armpit. So I have more leverage to control your center of gravity and your body. So you would see Israel MANO walk forward. In the process of walking forward, Melvin UGOCHUKWU would be chopping at that leg, chopping at the leg. But once they would get to the edge of the fence, and that's why lateral movement was so important for Melvin. Melvin was only moving backwards. He wasn't really moving. He would step to his right and his left from time to time, but for the most part he was moving backwards, and he was moving backwards because Israel MANO was applying that forward pressure against him. It's also harder to strike when you're moving backwards. So the leg kicks paid good dividends, because eventually he even got Israel MANO to the ground. But once Israel MANO got his back to the edge of the cage, and this is classic MMA strategy right here, he just shoots for the takedown, secures the underhook with his right hand, and from there he just starts to try to control Melvin with his left. I don't know, Melvin struggled when they would grapple. Melvin struggled because what you're meant to do in that situation is you're meant to fight for your own underhooks. You're not just meant to stay there and accept the position. And Melvin struggled with reversing that position, and the referee got in the way once or twice, but that was the story of the fight. Melvin would punish him with the striking, moving backwards and sideways, while Israel MANO would move forwards, trying to apply pressure so that he can end up grappling Melvin across the edge of the cage using his cage wrestling. Melvin came out on top, got a few beautiful counters in there. I'll put the highlights on the screen when this is going up on social media and stuff. But yeah, a good showing from Melvin. Solid work from everyone involved. Israel Manu really needs to clean up that striking. He was getting a little too emotional at certain points of the fight. Melvin kept his composure, cool and calm, stuck to the game plan, cinched out one of the only decision wins of the evening. And yeah, good luck to Melvin in his future endeavors. We can't wait to see him compete again. All right, so let's go to fight 4, which will
orthodox, meaning his left leg is in front. Andre MUKISI employing a deep entry and securing a solid takedown. Hugo straight into full mount. What are we looking for here?
It was perfect timing on the shot, and he's done it nice and early.
Corner and away from the fence where he can explode the way you're seeing him do now. He wants him in the center where there's no space. Hugo, what's taking place and why is it so difficult for Emmanuel BENARD to get out from underneath?
His time, and he seems to have such a squeeze, you know, with his legs. He's doing the
from now, we should see more shots on the screen. That was the shot taken by Andre MUKISI before securing the takedown. Deep entry, locking the hands on the wrist as we're taught in wrestling class, and then tripping him off to the side. I wonder how the judges will score that one, seeing as the first half was in the favor of Andre MUKISI, with Emmanuel BENARD reversing the position. And now, ladies and gentlemen, corner with the blonde hair from Luanda, Angola. He is...
So that was Andre MUKISI versus Emmanuel BENARD. That one was... So guaranteed that was the most boring fight on the card. But that was boring if you're just a casual viewer. As you can see, Andre MUKISI had a very solid ground game. Emmanuel BENARD, I made sure I played that part where he was struggling on the when he was struggling with Andre MUKISI in full mount on top of him, to just show that there's such a high discrepancy, like there's such a high difference between us and some of these neighboring African countries in terms of the ground game, in terms of grappling. And that's what he did. And you know why that is even more prophetic is that that's exactly how the main event went. To one guy came in thinking it was going to be a striking match. The other guy just looks at him and says, yo, we're not striking, bro, we're going to the ground. It's MMA for a reason. And this fight was just one of many. So Andre MUKISI cinches out a victory. Really slow, deliberate mixed martial Brazilian jiu-jitsu on the ground. He tries to even get an armbar at a point, transition to triangle. He controlled Emmanuel BENARD the entire fight. And the good thing now is at least Emmanuel BENARD knows he has something to work on. I don't know if his coaches are able to provide him that kind of training, but you have to go clean up that ground game or people will keep taking advantage of it. It's no longer about striking. There's wrestling involved now, and there's jiu-jitsu. That's a wake-up call to everyone. All right, let's not stay on that for too long. We're going into the 5th fight of the evening, which is...
It needs to be prepared to sprawl, you know. But if he did go into a traditional Muay Thai stance, and he would be able to check the kicks a lot easier.
So far, DIATTA has been playing catch-up. Oh, and in the last 10 seconds, it appears the referee getting in the way. It's not over yet. The referee, the timekeepers, blew the horn before side leg kick landing from JAKIEL, the smiling assassin AYANA. That's the same right hand that sent him back. Overhand. The body language not looking very convincing. However, he's still in this fight. That right hand is connecting repeatedly. GASMIRE DIATTA does this to everyone. That's the spinning elbow.
What a beautiful spinning elbow from JAKIEL AYANA.
The smiling assassin still has fight in this one.
Oh my gosh, this is a bad position to be in now.
But
he's fully mounted.
DIATTA spreading that ground and pound enough for anyone. The referee saying he doesn't want him to grab the cage. JAKIEL AYANA, does he have the reversal on the ground? GASMIRE DIATTA, rein in the damage. Ladies and gentlemen, the referee getting in the way. The referee getting in the way and stopping the bout.
Yeah, so that was GASMIRE DIATTA versus JAKIEL, the smiling assassin, AYANA. And, you know, this was a good fight. This was a good fight because it showcased how styles can clash and why styles make fights. JAKIEL is the kind of fighter. He's jazzy with it. That's how Adrian Broner would describe it. Like you're jazzy. You have your swag. You have your technique. Like when you try to throw your jab, there's some people you just see them move like, and they have that jazziness to them, and that comes from repetition. That comes from timing. That comes from being technical. It comes from being observant in the moment. JAKIEL has that. But you see the thing about fighting, right? Fighting is as beautiful as it is unpredictable, in the sense that even if you are the most technical guy alive, if my right hand can connect with your jaw, and if I'm able to make that happen consistently, I will win. You can know every technique in the book, but if this hand collides with your head, I've won. And that's what happened. JAKIEL was doing all the feinting, putting out all the shots, getting in the way of his opponent, cutting the cage, taking the center, using his reach, moving, everything you look for from a well-coached student. But you see something, right? When you're putting out all those feints, putting out those distractions, there has to be damage behind it. You can't just feint an opponent to victory. So 2 feints, 1 strike, 1 feint, 2 strikes, two feints, another feint, 2 feints, another strike. You have to put damage. Your opponent has to respect you. Excuse me. Your opponent has to respect you. The pace, the style, the technique, all well executed. But the thing is that there was nothing behind all that action and all that distraction to make GASMIRE DIATTA afraid. There was nothing to make him worried. In the first round, I only counted 2 right hands thrown from JAKIEL amidst all that traffic that he was creating, all that obstruction he was creating. And somebody like GASMIRE DIATTA that is relying on that nuclear weapon of a right hand to send you to the land and wind of ghosts, to make you unconscious. He knows his game plan to victory. It's not complicated. It's not you don't write PhD theses about it, but it's effective. And fighting, guess what? It's about one thing. It's about being effective. Dude just saw, you can't hurt me. So we did 1 round of this, and in the last 10 seconds, I tested you and I took you to the ground. So you know what we're going to do? Second round, I'm going to start on gear 3 instead of gear 2 this time. Can you keep up? Can your feints keep up with that? If I switch stances and come in and throw that overhand right really quickly, will you be able to feint and get out of the way intelligently enough? All right, let's test it. And boom, first test. Took him to the grid. He landed, the right hand collided. JAKIEL still being a technical wizard, though, because I'm not taking anything away from him, utilizing the chaotic moments of the fight to secure a beautiful spinning elbow. Spinning elbow is not effective enough, as GASMIRE DIATTA just mounts him, reigns ground and pound. I do think that this was another situation where the referee got in too quickly, but now that I've broken it down for you, why don't we watch it one more time?
It needs to be prepared to sprawl. But if he did go into a traditional Muay Thai stance, and he would be able to check the kicks a lot easier.
So far, DIATTA has been playing catch up. Oh, and in the last 10 seconds, it appears the referee getting in the way. It's not over yet. The referee, the timekeepers, blew the horn before side leg kick landing from JAKIEL, the smiling assassin AYANA. That's the same right hand that sent him back.
Overhand.
The body language not looking very convincing. However, he's still in this fight. That right hand is connecting repeatedly. GASMIRE DIATTA does this to everyone. That's the spinning elbow.
What a beautiful spinning elbow from JAKIEL AYANA.
The smiling assassin still has...
So yeah, that was it. Because another thing that I didn't really catch too well on the night was you could still see JAKIEL trying to set up the spinning elbow. Like he still had his wits about him when DIATTA was raining those bombs. But yeah, DIATTA is a scary individual, man. Scary guy. Don't sleep on that guy. And hats off to JAKIEL too. Both guys, GASMIRE DIATTA and JAKIEL, both of them, excellent performance of the night. And with that, we go straight into the 6th bout of the evening.
Please did not touch gloves there. I wonder whether that was a language barrier or that's just the beef.
Exactly what I was thinking. Exactly what I was thinking. I think it might have been an English versus French thing.
Yeah, Marcel, English not being his first language, and DRAME actually. So, as we pay attention to the action on the screen right now, we have both men in the orthodox stance, left leg in front, and deft and light footwork used to navigate the cage so far. Hugo, we know that DRAME has... Oh, solid uppercut!
Oh, my days!
That was an uppercut! Uppercut out of nowhere. No one has seen
he put him out.
DRAME put out like this before. No one has seen DRAME put out like this before, Hugo.
Boy,
what do you think just happened?
I saw him try to set up that right hand. You know, he kept on looking. He kept on looking at Yao Marcel's left hand, and then he dove in with his overhand. But Marcel had two hooks ready to reply.
Ladies and gentlemen, a reminder that this promotion is called the African Knockout for a reason. Because if you blink, you just might miss it. That was KOUADIO Yao Marcel from the Ivory Coast versus CHERIF DRAME.
Oh, DRAME is back up now, or at least he's back conscious, but I don't know if he has his wits around him yet. Yes, he landed an overhand, but Yao had those two hooks waiting for him. He was waiting for Yao's left hand, and once he thought he saw it, he was out by the first punch, wasn't he? He was out by the first punch.
The first uppercut.
At 42 seconds of the first round, here is your winner by knockout, Yao Marcel!
Yo, Marcel with the glasses afterwards, man, looking like the Terminator. Man, what do you say to that? Is there karma in life? Is there such a thing as karma? Does what goes around, does it really come around? I don't think so in fighting. But the fact that this guy landed this very same punch on Shegs a year ago, and then he tries to do the same thing to somebody else, and then the person ends up countering it and knocking him out in devastating fashion. I don't know. You can't write this stuff. You can't script this stuff in Hollywood. So what are the technicalities of that fight? Both men were in orthodox stance, left leg in front, meaning that their strikes are going to be thrown dominantly from their left side, colliding with the right side of their opponent's head, right? In the process of doing all of that, you have to be feinting. If you don't just want to start the fight and just start throwing. No, now you have to find your reach. You have to use your feet. You have to gauge your opponent's reactions. Throw something at 50% speed. See whether they raise their hand up. If they don't raise their hand up, throw it at 100. Then you can, just try and play with your opponent. That's what they were doing. But the thing now is that, I don't know, man. Maybe because Marcel started the fight with that flailing left-right combination, and he really stepped into it. He reached for it, which is not how you're coached to throw your left hook right hook combination. Maybe DRAME just saw that and was like, okay, I think I can time this guy with my special move, my Shoryuken. I can time him with my overhand rights. But yo, man, I think Marcel's coaches, they were just like, yo, this guy, this is what he normally does to people. He likes to time them with that overhand right. I think we can catch him with a right uppercut when he dips his head. And whether by sheer fate or luck, the overhand right lands on the neck of of Yao Marcel. And Marcel had that right uppercut. The uppercut was like this. It was just waiting for his head. Head just landed on the uppercut. As the head is going up, left hook, right hook, Bob's your uncle, land of wind and ghosts, KO. Good showing from both gentlemen. All right, then let's go to my guy, Ananias MULUMBA versus Jonathan LAMPTEY.
Intense space, and have both landed some clean strikes.
That was a solid left hook connecting on the right side of Ananias MULUMBA's tempo, and you see him trying to switch it into a grappling exchange. In the process, you need to keep your chin low and keep your head guarded on the way out. You can't just go in with your head high up. Oh, that was a front kick. Solid inside calf kick landing from Ananias MULUMBA.
Both fighters they've decided to stay right in the middle of the octagon. Nobody's trying to give an inch of space. They've started early investing in these leg kicks, but I'd say Mulumba seems to have the edge on the power. You know, he's definitely getting a reaction.
That was a beautiful right uppercut. That was a right uppercut from Ananias Mulumba. It was a right uppercut that connected on the chin of Jonathan Lamptey, and that was it. That was all she wrote. The DR Congo boys don't play. We've been saying this for a year and a half now. Keep your eyes on anybody that competes out of this country. The DR Congo does not play. Hugo.
Oh my, Mulumba. He has been so dominant in this division. He's been so dominant, and that was another dominant display.
Yeah, man, I had to let that one play fully because that team, those guys from Democratic Republic of Congo, you saw the guy that came with the flag to wrap it around him at the end of the fight. That guy is Yadad Musir. That's their coach. Those guys are cerebral. I've been saying it for at least 3 years now. DR Congo, when it comes to mixed martial arts, those guys are a force. They are a force. Like, they are just surging now. It's just now that that other people are beginning to see them. But from the first time I covered their fights in Lagos, I was like, what? There's guys on this continent that are already doing it at this level. Despite the challenges, they are trying their best to try to have solid grappling, solid striking, have a good team, have a solid coach, have everything ironed out. They come in as a... Look out for those DR Congo guys. Technically, what did he do in that fight, man? I started the fight intentionally at this point so that you see that he had to overcome adversity, then find a way to win. He problem solved that guy in real time. The guy he was fighting, Jonathan Lamptey, is good. You see that first scuffle, the first left hook. You see it actually sent Ananias Mulumba backwards. Like, he had to actually get his rhythm about him, then come back forward. But in the process of doing all of that, they still got into another exchange where it was still 50-50. And then you see them do the exchanges with the front kick. The front kick almost collides. And you can see Ananias really come to terms with the fact that his opponent is a game opponent. His opponent is a good fighter. But all it took was just him tapping with the left side, reading that reaction, right uppercut off the reaction, switch stance, straight left to the face, and that was it. At the highest levels of this sport, it takes one mistake and you watch your dreams go away. That's it. So I'm going to play it one more time. Just catch everything. Just catch all the intricacies of the sequence, because yeah, he's the real deal. I really believe he's the real deal. Once in a while, you hear me talk excitedly about somebody or something like this, and yeah, he's the real.
And have both landed some clean strikes.
That was a solid left hook connecting on the right side of Ananias Mulumba's tempo. And you see him trying to switch it into a grappling exchange in the process. You need to keep your chin low and keep your head guarded on the way out. You can't just go in with your head high up. Oh, that was a front kick. Solid inside calf kick landing from Ananias Mulumba.
Both fighters, they've decided to stay right in the middle of the octagon. Nobody's trying to give an inch of space. They've started early investing in these leg kicks, but I'd say Mulumba seems to have the edge on the power. You know, he's definitely getting a reaction.
That was a beautiful right uppercut. That was a right uppercut from Ananias Mulumba. It was a right uppercut that connected on the chin of Jonathan Lamptey, and that was it. That was all she wrote. The DR Congo boys don't play. We've been saying this for a year and a half now. Keep your eyes on anybody that competes out of this country. The DR Congo does not play. Hugo.
Oh my, Mulumba. He has been so dominant in this division. He's been so dominant, and that was another dominant display.
Yeah, man. DR Congo boys don't play, man. I'm happy I got that on camera. Let that be immortalized in time. They don't play. Those guys are going to be great. Those guys are already great. Like, just keep your eyes on them. Ananias Mulumba, Yadad Musir, DR Congo. If you're going to remember anything from this whole fight breakdowns and analysis section, just remember that those guys are special. There's a war going on in their country, and they are coming and they are competing like this. I don't know, man. I don't think stories like this are told enough. Like, we have so many special people just walking around us. Like, we say hi to them, they open our gates, they help us do stuff, they fight for us in front of TV. But if these guys start telling you their stories, so yeah, man, ANANIAS MULUMBA, he's the truth. His coach is also the truth, Yadad Musira, and I'm looking forward to seeing the heights that those guys united, because they all work together. At least from what me I've seen. I don't speak French, but they work together. I'm really curious to see how far that unity takes them. Okay, so this is a next fight is going to be an example of a bad stoppage which happened on the night, in my humble opinion. I will play the footage and you will let me know if you agree. Oh, we have 2 comments on the screen. All right, I'll play the footage and you let me know what you think. So on the screen now, we're going to have Richard MUZAAN versus ATHANASSIUS PIUS. Richard MUZAAN is 24 years of age. ATHANASSIUS is 23. No, 25. I believe he was 1 year his senior. And we're going to watch that right now.
He's landing his shots, man, and he's getting the reactions. He's getting a reaction. Even though the shots that are blocked or parried, I think they're getting an effect on PIUS. And PIUS really needs to find a way to close down this distance. Maybe he should get in a clinch or a wrestling situation here and test MUZAAN on the wrestling.
It appears ATHANASSIUS PIUS. Oh, the referee seemed to have gotten in as soon as he had seen enough. The shield, Richard MUZAAN, applied a little too much damage that went unanswered. And just like that, the referee had seen enough. A reminder that our referee for the evening is none other than Mr. Austin Judah. Hugo, what did you think about that stoppage?
Based on PIUS's reaction, PIUS seems upset. He feels like the fight was ended a bit too early, and he was definitely game. He still wanted to go. He's upset about that. But like I said, his hands were up, but I could tell he was taking some damage. He could definitely feel the power. His hands were up. He was defending himself, but he could definitely feel the power. Well, MUZAAN stays at the top, and we know he has 8 points. So with this 3 now, he's almost...
All right, so what do we take from that? I mean, even if the referee stopped it prematurely, the footage teaches us a lot. One thing it shows us is Richard MUZAAN is really powerful. That right high kick he threw, and he threw it semi off balance. He wasn't fully planted, and see the reaction he got from ATHANASSIUS's body language. So yeah, Richard MUZAAN is a powerful guy. He also has that killer instinct. Not everybody has that intuition to know how to finish a fight. Some guys are good with the they want to play tip tap. Okay, you go, I go. I hit you now. Okay, I hit you now. But they don't really know that, okay, it's time for me to throw my power. It's time for me to switch it on. Not everybody has that. Richard clearly doesn't struggle with that. If he smells blood, he's taking you out of the water. And ATHANASSIUS, even from the way in, his body language was too submissive, man. My guy, you are supposed to be like in this guy's grill. You're supposed to be imposing your will. But ATHANASSIUS, man, he came in, and even on fight night, it took him a little too long for his gears to get rolling. Now, I'm not going to say all of this and say it like it's his fault. I feel like Austin Judah should have hopped in on that finish, on that stoppage a little later than that. Should have given the finish time to work. Like we said, these guys trained for 3 months, 4 months on end just to make this one show. It's their way to make bread. It's their way to pay their bills. So having it end so prematurely, it serves no one. I mean, but we have to give the referees their due as well, in the sense that they don't want people to get hurt. We all know why in Nigeria, which hospital will carry you to which hospital will they take you to if you have a concussive brain injury? Which hospital will they take you to if they say that you have, I don't know, man, your orbital bone got shattered because someone threw a straight right hand into your temple? Like, where would they take you that you get, and who is going to pay for that treatment? Who is going to pay for the surgery? What about Achilles tendons, ACL, MCL? If those things get ripped, where will we go for reconstructive therapy, surgery and therapy in Nigeria? Guys, let's be real. nobody has that money, nobody has those resources to burn. So the referees, I get that that's what's going through their head. They're like, man, oh, mommy person picking no gonna die for my hand. So the guy just stops it early. But still, there's a minimum level of excellence we have to aspire towards, and that involves being better at our jobs. And so that's just me calling out someone that maybe needs to be called out in terms of the refereeing. All right. And this was our main event. This is 3 minutes long, and I think I'll just try my best to let it rock, because I mean, main event energy, we have to give them their respect. So this was Flex MUNWE versus Daniel Big Shark EMEKA in the middleweight division. Flex MUNWE from DR Congo and Daniel Big Shark EMEKA from Nigeria. Let's see how this went.
Are you ready? Ready. Fight!
Ladies and gentlemen, as we go straight into the main event of the evening, high intensity, high action. Oh, that jab connecting from MUNWE. And, high kick from Big Shark EMEKA.
Dan EMEKA, we told you he comes out here with them wild hooks, man. Dan is just going to put his head on Flex's chest and let them hooks go.
And
But he should be careful.
trying his best not to get grappled, it seems. He doesn't want to exchange his weight for Flexes in a grappling exchange. So he's doing his best to play Matador and escape the corners of the cage. Those hooks are wild, as you said. The entry is deep enough into side control. Hugo, walk us through.
Both fighters started at such an intense pace. You know, I wouldn't expect anything less. Flex, the longer fighter, he was trying with the jab to be. I mean, we saw how the fight with Flex versus Ogunoike went. And once Flex gets you on the floor, it can be very, 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 very stifling. And now he's in a full mount position already. And I mean, how many minutes? Flex MUNWE trying to get that finish. He threw at least 25 punches just on the ground in how many seconds? You know, he was trying so hard to end the fight, but he couldn't. And taking a look at both fighters now in their corners, visually, Flex is sat on his stool. And Dan EMEKA is standing, eager to go. He's upset and impatient. He can't wait for them to start the second round.
The thing is, Flex is a heavy pressure fighter. But in the past, you've seen that he can begin to slow down if he exerts a little too much effort. And who knows? Maybe he just did. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going into the second round. Big Shark EMEKA is already standing up and looking at him in his eyes like, bro, I'm ready and I'm going to get this round back from you. Flex starts, as we're going to see in the replay. Oh, already on the ground are they? Ladies and gentlemen, you can see Flex MUNWE in the mount position, applying pressure on Daniel Big Shark EMEKA. This was the story of the first and the second round. As you can see, straight into the half guard position, applying preparing strikes with that right hand, doing damage. What more do you need to say? This is high-level grappling exchanges. Both men know what their conditions for winning are, and they are willing to stick to their guns until one man's hand is raised. I don't know how else you cannot respect that.
Well, I think it's obvious what you have to have in your locker when you want to fight against Flex MUNWE. If you're going to go up against Flex MUNWE, you need to make sure you do your homework with the grappling. You have to make sure you get your grappling credentials up. And I'm taking a look at Dan EMEKA's corner. I might be wrong, but from the body language, I can still see his coach is still encouraging him to get some strikes going.
Yo, this is the most...
Yeah, so I let that one rock even though it was 3 whole minutes, because I need people to understand that we're behind in terms of what we need to be doing, in terms of plugging the aspects of our game that are lacking. And one of them right now, I keep saying it, I'm tired of saying it, is our jiu-jitsu. We just need to have a cleaner, a more solid ground game. The entire fight, you see this opening scuffle, I'm going to play it again, this opening scuffle where you see both of them run at each other, that was the most high-octane portion of the fight. And I feel like that was just what Flex needed to just coach, like, oh, if he's striking, this guy is going to put on a fight though. But if I shoot for this takedown and I trip his outside leg and we're on the ground, how will he cope? Another thing that you have to take into consideration is, I said this thing the same time, the first time I saw Flex fight Shegs as well. The size, Flex is a big guy. Why is Flex so big? Is it just that people in the DRC, their food makes them bigger and stronger? Or could there be a deeper reason? The reason I'm about to suggest is perhaps they understand weight cutting and the advantages that it brings a little better than we do. I don't know how disciplined everybody is with regards to their weight classes. I remember that when I used to compete, people considered the weight you walked around in as your weight class. But as I learned more about the sport and I spoke to more people and I explored weight cutting for myself and I just tried to learn, I saw that, a lot of people don't fight at the weight they walk around in. They walk around at a weight, then they cut like a weight class or two below that so that they have a comparative advantage to anybody who is not already doing that in their weight class. So middleweight division is 185 pounds, right? So if I start to walk around, if I know that maybe when I walk around at 205, or I walk around at maybe 196, if I can cut down 10 pounds and I can do that consistently, then that means I can compete with a comparative advantage to people across my weight class. And that means that on fight nights, when both of us are rehydrated after 24 hours of doing our weight cut and we're staring at each other, I just look so much bigger. Because I am bigger, you know? And so Big Shark looked smaller on the night, but at the same time, don't hate the game. I don't hate the player, I hate the game. Like, maybe that's just something else to take into consideration. Weight cutting and ideal weight classes. I don't know. We need to figure that out as a nation, or as a nation of athletes. How to weight cut better and what our ideal weight classes are. So this was the opening scuffle.
Are you ready? Ready. Fight!
Ladies and gentlemen, as we go straight into the main event of the evening, high intensity, high action. Oh, that jab connecting from MUNWE. And, high kick from Big Shark EMEKA.
Dan EMEKA, we told you he comes out here with them wild hooks, man. Dan is just going to put his head on Flex's chest and let them hooks go.
And
Boy, he should be careful.
Trying his best not to get grappled, it seems. He doesn't want to exchange his weight for flexes in a grappling exchange. So he's doing his best to play Matador and escape the corners of the cage. Those hooks are wild, as you said. The entry is deep enough into side control. Hugo, walk us through.
Both fighters started at such an intense pace. You know, I wouldn't expect anything less. Flex, the longer fighter, he was trying with the jab.
Flex dominated, took him to the ground. Once he found his path to victory, stuck with it, ground him, took him to the ground, control him on the ground, be active enough for the referee to not come and say, "Oh yeah, stand up, I need more action." Now he kept it going and cinched himself a victory in the main event. DR Congo, and you know, Flex is in the same camp as ANANIAS Mulumba, and I keep talking about those guys. Please, there's a reason that they are dominating in both the lightweight divisions and the middleweight divisions, and they are from the same country and the same camp. It's not a coincidence. They have the same coach as well. Let's pay attention to those guys. They deserve it. Okay, now I think that's all the fights. I think the show was a success. I can't wait to see them come back to Abuja again, which should be soon. Hopefully there's more appreciation of the quality of work that they're trying to do, and more people come out. Jim Ike was there, Victor Osimhen was there, celebrities, all sorts of people. I saw people that I haven't even seen in years. Abuja, people that I used to hang out with before, when I still used to hang out, like when I still had a life out in the city, and it was nice. Abuja needs heat. Abuja needs stuff that brings people out. Abuja brings stuff that challenges people, inspires people, you know. And I feel like this show did that, and it did that in spades. So I cannot wait to see what comes. So we have some comments and questions. All right, and I will go into the first one. Oche, your bias for Mulumba is like that of DC for them Dagestani mountain boys. I think every commentator gets to a point where they find somebody. Like Joe Rogan has this story that he tells about Anderson Silva, where he was telling his friend, bet on Anderson, like bet on that guy, because that was Anderson's debut into the UFC. And as you've rightly pointed out, DC has the Dagestani guys in his camp as well. Those are the people that he that he likes to back. And I think maybe I've been in the game for 6 years now. So right now the current phase I'm in is the Democratic Republic of Congo. Anytime I see their flag flying, these my big eyes just become bigger, and I want to watch them fight and observe and learn. So yeah, that's where we are. Love to see it. The repetitive name call out made it stick, but the thing now is I don't know exactly what you were responding to there. Blessed to see him post fights that night. The ref robbed us of entertainment in the MUZAAN's fight. Absolutely, 100%. I feel like ATHANASSIUS PIUS was just getting started, but Richard Muzan's pressure, the referee was just afraid, because Richard Muzan actually hurts people. Like when he fights them, like he'll just be kneeing you repeatedly, elbowing you, kicking you. Like he's a very dangerous, violent guy. And so I think the referee was afraid, and he says Flex. Yeah, Flex is a G, man. Flex understands mixed martial arts, and his setup was freaking crisp and well. I'm sure this was about ANANIAS MULUMBA. Excellent calculated work from ANANIAS. Like I could watch that several times. And please recap AYANA half minutes. Okay, so let me, you know what? So this is comment number. Okay, so let me go play the AYANA one again. Then I'll recap it after I'm done. Actually, no, man, dude. I recapped. I gave a very deep breakdown on AYANA's fight. Actually, I explained the keys to victory. AYANA needed to put damage behind the obstruction and distraction that he was putting. He was putting all these feints, but there was no damage following it up for GASMIRE DIATTA to get afraid, to get concerned, to begin to move backwards. Watch that fight. How many steps did you see GASMIRE DIATTA take backwards? None. He was just moving forwards the entire time, and that's because he was not. That's an indicator that he was not afraid of what his opponent was putting in his way. He was distracted, but he wasn't scared. And you need to make your opponent at least worried, scared of something that you put in their way. And when AYANA was unable to do that, GASMIRE DIATTA took the momentum of the fight, stepping forwards, throwing to the body, throwing to the head. One right hand connected. AYANA landed a spinning back fist, spinning elbow, landed on the back of the head, landed on the side of the head. Both men went to the ground, but the damage that DIATTA had been putting on him and the relentless pace just paid off, and the referee got in the way in that one a little too soon, I believe. That was another early stoppage. But yeah, that was a good fight. That was a really good fight. Yeah, I believe that's this one, and I have just broken that down. Repetitive name call was for MULUMBA. Yeah, man, ANANIAS MULUMBA, man, that's my guy, man. I need to let people know. Like I did that for everybody on the night chat, to be fair. Like I actually called everybody's names as clearly. Like, see how I'm saying ATHANASSIUS PIUS. I had never heard a name called ATHANASSIUS until the day of the press conference, and I was like, what? There's a guy named ATHANASSIUS. Okay, I better go and rehearse and practice how to pronounce it. And yeah, it paid off. The Chris setup was for Flex's BJJ. We get work on the match. Yeah, man, people need to go see Mayo in Body Rock's fitness studio more, because that's the person that'll teach you how to roll. If you're in Abuja, if you're in Lagos, go to the Rebirth Era BJJ guys. Those guys too, they have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu studio. People just need to go and become students again. That's what our guys need to do. You can strike, you can knock people out, but what happens when the guy wants to submit you? What do we have in response? That's a question we need to answer as a nation and as a community. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is 1 hour and 30 minutes long. I am proud of myself that I have been able to complete this. Alas, it is time that I go. But before I do, it's important to remind you that this is Combat Culture Africa, and we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we also have an email, combatcultureafrica@gmail.com, if you want to send us an email to get featured on future episodes. I am Oche Young Jollof Edache, and this podcast is largely, there's a team. We're split into different things. Some people are working on Technique of the Week, which is where we teach martial arts. You can see that on our YouTube channel. We have like 4 episodes produced this year already, and we have a bunch of other stuff that we do. But if you want to support us directly, check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/The Nigerian Nerd. We have a subscription option there. Have a look, see what we're about. Written articles for free. go wild, enjoy yourself. All right, it's a Saturday. It's 11:30. I have work to get to. I have to edit this podcast, and I just want to say I'm going to always end every episode on a positive note, and I just want to say that a lot of the times, as difficult as things are, our perception of the situation can be all the difference that is required. This morning, I woke up. I wanted to stay in bed because I haven't been sleeping too well because I'm doing marriage classes and like life is stressful and life is just what it is. I wanted to stay in bed. But I was like, you know what would be dope? If I got out of bed, did a 10-kilometer run, came home, and still got this podcast done in time by 10 a.m. And to the glory of God Almighty, it's 11:31. I've done 1 hour 31 minutes already, and that gets to be my story for today. In other words, my perception of the day changed because of how I chose to look at it. I can't guarantee you that it's going to get easier. I've been waiting for it to get easier for 11 years now, but I've found that I can get stronger, and things that used to overwhelm me before have become a lot easier to bear. And so I know that it gets easier at do it. It can get easier to do hard things, if that makes sense. And for that reason, yeah, I wish you strength in your life, and I wish you love, joy, reassurance. I hope you find all the things you're looking for, and I also hope that you look for the things that you are meant to look for. On that note, I believe this podcast can come to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Oche Young Jolofedache. This has been Combat Culture, and we love you, and peace.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth.
I'm so mean I make medicine sick. That's bad.
This is Combat Culture.